welcome to our newsroom. The top stories of this Monday, 11 January 2016 are: the head of state received the new French ambassador. Nigerian president condemned the attack of Boko Haram.
The head of state, His Excellency Ismaila Omar Guelleh, has received this morning the credential letter of the new French ambassador in Djibouti, Mr. Christophe Guillou. Along with by his close collaborator, the new ambassador made a speech in which he emphasized on the links between France and the Republic of Djibouti, which are the result of a long and shared history of 150 years. Born in 1952, the new French ambassador has graduated from the Language Institute Oriental Civilization and Diplomatic, which has worked in many countries and in the United Nations as well as the Francophonie.
Les liens qui unissent la France et la République de Djibouti sont...
The links that unite France and the Republic of Djibouti are, as you know, the fruit of a long shared history for more than 150 years, the equivalent of 5 generations. This allows you to measure the wealth, but also the specificity of our bilateral relationship. The wealth because our two people have lived moments of intense. I think particularly of the bloodshed by your soldier to Verdun, and then in the battle that followed, and in which France was engaged. These sacrifices are not forgotten, and we are deeply indebted. Beyond the bloodshed, one of the legacy of our history is, of course, the sharing of a common language. French, however, a language, this is not only a means to communicate, it is also a way of thinking, think differently, but also to feel the holders of a common heritage. This powerful means of communication is an invaluable asset. We have perfectly consciences, and it is up to us to strengthen and enrich it. The relations between our two countries depends not only on memory done, the writing of a great writers and travelers of the French literature who have transmitted the love of this land and their admiration for these men and women of Djibouti, which have survived in an our relationship. These are also common interests, of interest for that this country can ensure its future in an environment for the less complex is as well as France and the Republic of Djibouti are bound by a treaty of cooperation in the field of defense without equivalent on the rest of the continent. Without equivalent, and you know the price that France attached to this relationship. The latter explains that you welcome in your country the largest military establishment in France outside of France. The French forces of Djibouti have not only a role of protection, they are also here to strengthen the cooperation between our two countries. Their unique role and the responsible Djiboutian will repeat at what point that our brothers and friends Djiboutians, our armed forces have particular facility of extraordinary drive. We are aware of this and we will do everything to strengthen and improve this relationship. Two other areas that we can further strengthen our bilateral actions because we know that we must evolve and adapt our tools and our priorities. The first of these challenges is economic. Trade between us are not to the height of the strategic relationship that unites us. This is the effort to implement in order to strengthen this area. I will apply myself because your country is in the process do everything to exploit to the maximum the benefits which give him its geographical situation. France and its company have assets that we must now develop. The second issue is that our French language we will return to reflect jointly to the new ways to implement, to revitalize, and further strengthen the use in Djibouti of this common language in a strong growth at the global level, which constitutes your originality here in the Horn of Africa, located in a regional environment complex in Djibouti, must meet the challenge of the stability. France, as before it, Djibouti, has been very hard hit by the terrible attacks. We have been very sensitive to the message of sympathy that you have sent spontaneously to the President of the Republic, Mr. François in Paris during the COP21 for your gather before the Bataclan. This touched us a lot. We do not forget that the criminals who a year ago had massacred the drafting of Charlie Hebdo and then killed the Hyper Cacher had been trained in Yemen on the other shore of the Bab el-Mandeb. It is therefore a great task entrusted to me by the President of the Republic, Mr. François Hollande. I work with conviction in awareness of the responsibility which is mine and putting it at the service of our two great friendly and allies. Long life the French Republic and long life the Republic of Djibouti.
After his speech in the submission of the presidential letter to the President of the Republic, the new French ambassador in Djibouti, the head of state and the ambassador, Mr. Christophe Guillou, have had an interview in the presence of the minister responsible for the cooperation, Ahmed Ali Silai, and the collaborator of the ambassador. The discussion mainly focused on the bilateral relation and the mean to strengthen of the advantage.
The Union for the Presidential Majority spokesperson and president of the Djiboutian Social Democratic Party, Ms. Hasna Momin Bahdoun, today welcomed the Friday UNP Convention's gathering, who were clearly made the head of state, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, as the single candidate of this coalition. She has held the attempt to thank all the organizers and all the participants in this great gathering. Let's listen for more detail.
The UNP held last Friday its convention to invest the candidate Ismail Omar Guelleh. Activists gathered at the Equestrian Club in demonstrating their accession to the political project of the President Ismail Omar Guelleh and the coalition of UNP. The convention has also been the occasion to affirm the success of major achievements socio-economic impact of the head of state. The leader of the UNP have not failed to express their satisfaction of national politics and international for the head of state. To this effect, I thanked to the UNP candidate who is expressed on the social network. I would like to thank all those who from near or far have taken part in this celebration of 8 January, as all of these men and women who are mobilized around our coalition and who believe in our Republican values that are the unity, peace, and social cohesion. I tell you thank you once again. In our neighborhood, our cities, and beyond the border, continue to work together for Djibouti. Finally, I thank all those who have played rendering the organization of grand event, and more particularly the first ladies of the country, President of the UNFD, Ms. Khadra Mohamed Haid. After the ceremony of the oath taken, the first member of the National Independent Electoral Commission Bureau before the Constitutional Court, the People's Palace has hosted today, during the course of the oath taken, the designation of the National Electoral Independent Commission President of the 5 Vice Presidents from the interior region. Indeed, Mr. Abdi Ismail Hirsi was appointed Senate President by acclamation, where he appointed 42 votes against his appointment Salah Banoita, who has obtained 31 votes. After the first step took place, the designation of the 5 vice president of the Interior Region. Finally, the new president of the CENI, Mr. Abdi Ismail Hirsi, has thanked the member of the CENI for granting him their confidence. Then the Interior Minister, Mr. Hassan Omar Mohammed, has received in his office the new CENI National Electoral Independence Commission President, Mr. Abdi Ismail Hirsi, and the 5 new vice president of the Interior Region. The minister has wished the responsible of the CENI full success in the mission that has been entrusted.
Under the chairmanship of Mrs. Hassan Ahmed Bidid, the Commission of the Legislation and the General Administration happened yesterday at 10 a.m. in the room of the Commission of the National Assembly in order to consider the text of the draft law and approval of the Diagram Director of Urban and Regional Planning of the Agglomeration of Djibouti. The government was represented by the Secretary of State in charge of Housing, Ms. Madam Amina Abdi Aden. Through this important text, the government proposed to set the strategic directions of the territories for the next 20 years, as well as the general destination of the soil, and in the context of the 2050-35 vision. This act is not fixed, thus is planned to evolve in every 5 years in order to reassess the relevance as a function of the evolution and new needs which could appear what were appropriate to make the path useful. The Secretary of State, Madam Amina Abdi Aden, explained to the members of the Commission that through this text it will be a question of good orders in the field that this text, she insisted, will serve as a means of actions and caution to put the operations favor the advent of a cohesion urban planning that is fully in the with the development in the sustainable development, the optimization of investment, public and private, but also to improve the framework of life. The topic has generated a constructive debate. At the end of the meeting, the members have issued a favorable opinion on the adoption of this bill to the next public meeting of the National Assembly.
The National Social Security Fund has launched a pension banking operation receiving of the at least 100,000 francs per semester. The CNSS has invited the bank institution with the goal to open the account for the pensioner who receive more than 100,000 francs in Djibouti. The CNSS Director General, Mrs. Hanna Farah Assowe, has supervised the pensioner banking operation who will continue until Sunday, the 17th January 2065. Bank institutions have installed their booth with the objective to open account to the pensioner. It is with the objective of facilitating the payment of the pension that the CNSS has went to be the tie between the bank and the pensioner. An initiative that has been well received by the pensioner, just like the case of this pensioner who went to open an account in one of the banks for him. This system will facilitate a lot of things. The first thing, it will be easier for me who live in Balbala to retrieve a pension to a nearest bank.
On her side, the CNSS General Director, Ms. Hanna Farah Assowe, explained that the creating account for the pensioner receiving more than 100,000 per semester is a part of a strategic managerial who has the primary objective to facilitate the payment of pensions based on the proximity. We started this service proximity policy a few years ago. We have begun to transfer the pensions of retired living in the regions. This has been made possible with the partnership of the CNSS has signed with the Post of Djibouti. At the end of this initiative, the pensioner of this region did not move to the capital in order to come to the NBECS to get the retirement pension. Then another measure has been taken how to pay pensioners who are very bedridden, who do not have the capacity to move, and today it is a new strategy. In this strategy, which aims to offer a better service to pensioners to avoid then to wait, but also to travel. The pensioners are free to open their account in the 5 banks of their choice. The 5 banks of the country have responded to our invitation to kindly open the accounts for the pensioners.
The Egyptian Army Forces has received a certificate of an internship of the first degree, which has come to an end this morning in the Balbala military headquarters, shared by General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Head of State, Major General of Army Division, in the presence of the General of Brigade Usman Noor Subagle, Head of State, Major of Defenses, the General of Brigade Tahir Muhammad Ali, Head of State, Major of Defenses, as well as the head various departments of the Army, the General Hassan Ali, Advisor of the Head of State, Major General of Army, as well as Colonel Ibrahim representing the National Gendarmerie, were also present. 9 people, including 2 gendarmes, 8 trainers, have passed this internship in a top-level informatic network. Finally, after the proclamation of the result, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim has granted the remission to the first winner of the internship.
The Community Development Center are not due to one of the ways of the more effective to evolve the population to participate actively in the development and economic progress. Also, in accordance with the enlightening policy of the Head of State, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, has organized yesterday morning at Gourabous locality of the regions of Dakhil a ceremony for the inauguration of the CDC. The Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, His Excellency Badou Hassan Badou, the President of the National Assembly, Mr. the Honorable Muhammad Ali Humad, the Minister of the Habitat, His Excellency Muhammad Musa Ibrahim Balala, the Prefect of the Region of Dakhil, Mr. Muhammad Sheikho, the President of the Regional Council, Abdurrahman Yunis Arri, and parliamentarians of the region have taken part in this ceremony. To do this effect, the inhabitants of Gourabous have reserved to the delegation a home for more warm. The President of the Regional Council has, during its intervention, recalled that the importance of the CDC in the meaning of it allows not only to young people to learn and exchange, but also to engage in sports away from illness and delinquency. The Prefect of the Regions of Dakhil was with respect to him after having thanked the Secretary of State for having kept it worse and proceeded to the inauguration of the CDC, has continued in asking to the population to Gourabous to make a good use of their CDC and that know the responsibility to preserve this community space for their responsibility. The ceremony was closed by the official inauguration of the CDC. This CDC is well equipped with rooms of football, tennis and tennis table, a basketball court, volleyball, and also an audiovisual room and a library.
Health Now, in the framework of the activity monthly consultation bill in place by the team, a framework of the Medical Center Hospital of the region of Ali Sabieh for the approximation of the care in the community of the village. A mobile team of the Medical Center Hospital of Ali Sabieh has moved in the locality of Galilee with the head doctor of the mobile team of the Center Hospital, Dr. Umar Muhammad Farah, to carry out consultation and care of the vicinities. Were present the doctor of the mobile team of the Medical Center Hospital of Ali Sabieh and its paramedical technician. The purpose of this mobile team is to provide care in the remotest area of health structure, fix The benefit offered to the population of the locality were the medical consultation, the care of the reproduction, vaccination, the support of the malnutrition children, and the family planning. The number of people consulted were more than 150 people. The Department of Health, with this action of the regulation through this strategy, account closer to the care to the population of the region of the interior region.
We learn the sadness, the death of the late Ali Sougoule, known as Dun Arab. He died in the United Arab Emirates today. He was one of the best artists of Djibouti. He took first place at the time of independence. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Minister of Communication addressed their sincere condolence to the family of the deceased. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Following the death of Mr. Idris Girre Farah occurred last Thursday on the hospital Peltier, the Minister of Higher Education shall inform that the ceremony of Maulud of the deceased will be held tomorrow at his home. On this occasion, the Minister of Higher Education renews his condolence to the families of the deceased.
And now let's move to the regional news. In Kenya, a university where Islamic extremists killed 150 people a month ago reopened and even welcomed by many Kenyans as a victory against the jihadists. More detail with Said Mohammed.
Kenya Garissa University College has officially reopened 9 months after the killing of nearly 150 people, mainly students, in an attack by militant Islamic group Al-Shabaab. Staff have reported to work while students are expected to be back on campus. But a police post has been set up on the campus in northeast Kenya to improve security. Last year's attack was the deadliest so far by the Somali-based group in Kenya. Following its closure, some 650 students from Garissa University College were offered place at the sister campus in Eldoret, Western Kenya, to continue their studies. The French government has set up a fund for 109 students injured in the attack, putting $1,500 each to each student tuition fee and living allowance for the year.
Concerning the continental news, after many relentless and tireless efforts, the Nigerian president has hammered that the Nigerian military has succeeded in degrading the extremist Boko Haram, saying the group can no longer launch military-style attacks as they had done in the past. Let's listen with more detail.
The Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari insisted that the Nigerian military has succeeded in degrading the extremist Boko Haram sect, saying the group can no longer launch military-style attacks as they has done in the past. The President said the armed force contribute and represent one of the most patriotic institutions in the land, playing a leading role in nation building. It diligently attends to the traditional duty of defending and protecting our territorial integrity. Their remarkable efforts, in particular at this time, in combating insurgency in the northeast is greatly appreciated by the Nigerian people. Boko Haram and insurgency in the northeast has now been degraded militarily. The insurgents no longer hold territories and can no longer launch military-style attacks as they has done in the past. He expressed gratitude of the nation to the military, adding, "We are confident and we pray that with God on our side, the armed force of Nigeria will complete the work that they had started."
That was for tonight's edition. The program is still continuous in RTD. Thanks for being with us.